Sometimes I wonder, what's the single invention that changed human history more than anything else? Most people might say the computer or electricity or the internet. But honestly, none of that would have happened if we hadn't first figured out one simple thing: how to roll. Yes, the wheel. It's such an ordinary object today that we barely even notice it. We see it on cars, bikes, airplanes, toys, even on Mars rovers. But the story behind it, that's something truly special. Because the wheel isn't just an invention. It's a mirror of how humans think, dream, and solve problems. So today, I want to take you on a little journey, a trip through time, to see how a simple circular idea transformed everything we are. Let's rewind about 6,000 or 7,000 years. Back then, humans were already smart. They farmed, built shelters, tamed animals, made pottery. But there was one huge problem. Moving things was insanely hard. Imagine you're living in an early village somewhere in Mesopotamia. You've got heavy sacks of grain to move from the river to your hut. You can carry them on your shoulders, maybe drag them on the ground, but it's slow, painful, and tiring. Then one day, maybe you notice something interesting. You roll a round log under that sack, and suddenly it slides a little easier. That tiny moment, that realization that round things move differently, might have been the first spark that eventually led to the wheel. No blueprints, no scientific equations, just human curiosity and observation. They watched how stones rolled down hills, how fruits rolled away after falling from trees, how the sun and moon seemed to roll across the sky every day. Nature was already spinning and turning. Humans just needed to imitate it, and that's what they did. Now here's something funny. The first wheels weren't actually made for transportation at all. Archaeologists discovered that the earliest known wheel came from around 3,500 BCE in ancient Mesopotamia. And it wasn't part of a cart or wagon. It was part of a potter's wheel. Picture this: a flat, circular slab of clay or wood that spins on a pivot, allowing a potter to shape smooth, even bowls and jars. That was revolutionary. It made pottery faster, more consistent, and easier. And that spinning motion, that idea that something could rotate smoothly around a center, was the real invention. Because soon someone probably looked at that spinning potter's wheel and thought, wait a second, what if we made a bigger version and put it under a cart? That single thought, turning a tool into a transporter, was the leap that changed everything. So somewhere around 3,300 BCE, probably in Sumer or nearby regions, people built the first wheeled carts. Heavy wooden platforms with solid wooden discs as wheels. These weren't fast or elegant. They were thick, clunky, and super heavy, but they worked. For the first time in history, humans could move heavy loads without breaking their backs. It sounds small, but this changed agriculture, trade, and construction forever. Villages could grow bigger because people could bring in more food. Farmers could transport crops. Builders could move stones. It was the moment humanity began to multiply its strength. But it didn't stop there. Once the basic wheel existed, people started improving it. They experimented with shapes, sizes, and materials. They realized a lighter wheel with spokes could go faster. That's when the wheel truly began to roll into history. If you've ever seen an ancient Egyptian chariot in a museum, you already know how beautiful they were. Light, balanced, and deadly fast. Around 2000 BCE, the chariot revolution began. The Egyptians, Hittites, and later the Persians perfected the art of the wheel for war. They built spoked wheels made of wood and bronze, pulled by horses trained for speed. Chariots became the tanks of the ancient world, symbols of power, speed, and domination. Kings rode them into battle. Rulers paraded them through cities. The faster and lighter your wheels, the stronger your empire looked. It's amazing to think that something as simple as a wheel could shift the balance of global power. And while warriors used them for war, merchants used them for peace, to trade goods, travel far, and spread ideas. By connecting people, the wheel didn't just move objects, it moved civilization itself. Around the same time, the wheel also started to take on a symbolic meaning. In India, the Dharma chakra, or wheel of law, came to represent truth, balance, and the eternal cycle of life. In Buddhism, the wheel symbolizes enlightenment and the path to peace. In Celtic and Greek cultures, circular symbols represented the sun and the cycle of seasons. The wheel became a metaphor for time, everything turning, everything repeating, everything connected. That idea that life itself moves in circles came directly from people who watch wheels turn on the ground. So you could say the wheel didn't just move our bodies, it also moved our minds. As centuries rolled on, literally, the wheel became part of almost everything people did. By the time of the Greeks and Romans, wheels were powering mills and machines. Water wheels turned rivers into sources of energy. Gear wheels made clocks tick. And roads, built by the Romans with almost mathematical precision, allowed carts and wagons to travel from one end of Europe to another. If you think about it, the Roman Empire was built on the strength of the wheel. Every soldier, every merchant, every piece of grain moved on wheels across those legendary stone roads. Without that, the Roman dream of a connected empire might never have existed. During the Middle Ages, the wheel became more refined and more specialized. Blacksmiths built iron-rimmed wheels that lasted longer. Mills used giant wooden gears and wheels to grind grain, pump water, and even forge metal. Clockmakers took things further, building intricate gear systems that could measure time itself. That's right. Even your wristwatch today is a descendant of the ancient wheel. The more humans learned to master circular motion, the more complex their inventions became. Then came the 18th century, and with it, a new kind of power. The Industrial Revolution turned the wheel from a humble tool into the engine of the modern world. Steam engines used giant iron wheels to drive trains across continents. Factories were filled with turning gears, belts, and cogs, all spinning together in a beautiful, noisy rhythm of progress. In the 1800s, a man named John Boyd Dunlop came up with another genius idea. What if wheels could be soft? He invented the air-filled tire. That changed everything again. Now wheels could absorb shock, move faster, and go farther. Bicycles, cars, airplanes, all became smoother and more efficient. From that moment on, the world was truly on the move. In the 20th century, the wheel went where no wheel had gone before: space. Every spacecraft that landed on the moon or Mars needed wheels. When NASA sent rovers to explore Mars, those 6 aluminum wheels rolled across alien soil, continuing a journey that began thousands of years ago in the mud of Mesopotamia. Think about that for a second. The same principle that helped a farmer move grain across his village is now helping humanity explore another planet. If that doesn't blow your mind, nothing will. Today, wheels are everywhere. In your car, your watch, your blender, your hard drive, your airplane, even inside your computer fan. We've made them stronger, lighter, faster. Some spin millions of times a second in microchips. Others carry entire airplanes across continents. But here's the crazy part. Most of us never even notice them. We don't think about the wheels under our cars or the gears inside our machines. They've become invisible, part of the background of modern life. Yet everything we rely on still turns. Now we're entering a strange new age, one where wheels might not even be necessary. Maglev trains float above tracks using magnets. Hoverboards glide on air. Drones fly without touching the ground. Some engineers say we're moving beyond the wheel. But I think it's more accurate to say we're evolving the wheel. The principle is still the same. Reduce friction, increase movement, make life easier. It's just taking new forms now. Digital, magnetic, virtual. But it's still the same dream, to move better, faster, smarter. When you think about it, the wheel is more than a round piece of wood or metal. It represents how we think as humans. We see a problem, and we imagine a simpler way. We take inspiration from nature, from patterns, from motion, and we turn it into something practical. That's what the wheel really is, the physical shape of human curiosity. And that curiosity keeps rolling, generation after generation. So the next time you're stuck in traffic, or you ride your bike, or even spin a chair absent-mindedly, take a second to think about it. The same idea that makes your car move today was born 6,000 years ago, in a world without machines, computers, or even writing. A world where one person, just like you or me, watched a round stone roll down a hill and thought, what if I could use that? And that's how the world began to move. Not with an explosion, not with magic, but with one small, beautiful circle that never stopped turning.